talking about the latest corruption, latest service being offered by Donald Trump's social media company that now allows customers, people who pay for it, to gain access to Trump's market-moving missives on Truth Social for a mere $100,000 a month. And they're correct, of course, to question its legality. The service is already being sued by two media companies who, in their lawsuits, call it corrupt and unconstitutional. We're back with Brendan and Melissa. Brendan's group, the Public Integrity Project, is one of the groups that filed that suit against Truth Social. Brendan, what are your thoughts about how and whether you'll be successful legally, and what do you do for all of the gains that are being made in the interim while this is available?
Yeah, so let's talk about the problem here, why we think we're going to win, and then talk about sort of what to do about this. So, just to set the baseline, Truth Social is the preferred method for Donald Trump to make any official announcement. That's where he hires people, that's where he fires people, that's where he announces wars, that's where he announces ceasefires. If you want to know what the government is doing, you have to use Truth Social. And the scheme here is to provide, and I'm quoting Truth Social itself, market-moving statements from the president, vice president, FBI director, and other top leaders in the government, early access to those who are willing to subscribe for, as you said, $100,000 a month. And Truth Social has already said that they have a number of people signed up and that they're actually looking to expand the service to potentially encompass gambling or betting. So literally facilitating people taking bets on what the president's going to say in his official announcements. So that just seems profoundly corrupt, absurdly corrupt. And it is also unconstitutional. It's unconstitutional under the First Amendment. The government can't discriminate in who it gives information to. So once it decides to make information public, it can't say, I'm going to withhold this information because you refuse to, for instance, contribute to the president's private company. It's unconstitutional under the 14th Amendment, the Equal Protection Clause, that says that you have to treat people similarly, and you have to have a rational basis for when you treat people differently. There's no rational basis here, between distinguishing who gets information, whether they give a ton of money to the president or not. Now, what to do about, the folks that are already going to be making money here? That's something for another lawsuit, potentially an insider trading lawsuit. It's also the work of potentially a future Department of Justice. This is the kind of scheme where people are making money off of inside information that hopefully a Department of Justice that respects the rule of law is going to prioritize.
Melissa, I don't know what the legal standard is, but I want to say this carefully. If Shane Gillis and Joe Rogan describe it as insider trading and knowingly illegal conduct, is it the same as, non-falsity was the standard that Fox ultimately has to cough up $1 billion to Dominion for in a libel context? If there are people who know, as Shane Gillis and Joe Rogan there clearly do, that this is flagrantly illegal at the time, are they legally exposed?
Hard to say, Nicolle. Again, it depends on the specificity of the laws and sort of like the insider trading laws and how it would apply here. And, obviously, there is a real problem with the president using this as a means of publicizing, as he puts it, market-moving information and making it available on some kind of advance basis to those who have paid for the service in advance. So, at the very least, it is incredibly, incredibly unethical and raises a number of problems, some of which may be statutory violations. What I think is so interesting about Brendan's lawsuit is that the point that they're making goes beyond this question of insider trading. It is about the basic framework of a democracy where the media is available as an accountability institution. If the president has bypassed the traditional media by releasing all of this information on Truth Social, his own privately controlled portal, and the media has to get early access in order to be able to cover the government in the same way as these people who have this early access, that's an unconstitutional condition. There is a requirement in the Constitution for freedom of the press to be able to cover government institutions. If you require advance access to be able to do that, that's an unconstitutional condition. It also impedes the First Amendment right of the press to be able to cover the government as a hedge against government encroachment, as a means of calling the government to account. So there is a lot here, but to me, the